Welcome to the New York Outlook for Tuesday, the 26th of March 2024. What I do want to say before I start this is that it's probably best you look at the London Outlook for context, because I don't want the New York Outlook to be lengthy, especially given that I'm now covering 3 pairs. So having said that, let's move into the economic calendar, where we've got one red folder news event 1 hour before the end of the New York-London cross. So dependent on this news release, we can potentially validate a New York high of the day or low of the day, depending on the intended direction we're trying to trade. So I'll go through the scenarios as we move through the different pairs and how I would approach it. So from a GBPUSD perspective, nothing too much has changed. From a 4H perspective, we've reached deeper into this unconfirmed. Remember, we're in an unconfirmed scenario, and we've reached deeper into the pro-trend previously confirmed primary leg OB right here. And at the moment, while we do have reasons to both long and short, I think it makes a lot more sense to actually just short, because we're in this OB, and to actually long we'd need a new low of the day, and I think that's, well, not likely to happen, whilst also moving to the upside. So for that reason, for the New York session, I think it's best to simply focus on shorts for the New York session in particular. And then how I would approach this, sorry, I'm just changing some of these labels because I moved this from the London session. How I would approach it is, in an ideal situation, what we need is a New York high of the day. Once we have a New York high of the day, we then need this New York news, which is CB consumer confidence, to be positive for the USD, after which point we can validate that the New York high of the day is likely to hold. We'll take a short with the objective of potentially targeting somewhere in and around this area, but at least 73 pips from the high of the day, from the New York high of the day to 73 pips, because we have red folder news. So that's the GBP approach. I think, just to summarize, so I can jog your memory, we're in an unconfirmed scenario. We have reason to trade both directions. However, there's more reason to trade short than long given where we are. And then in addition to that, the approach is waiting for a New York high of the day, and then validating that New York high of the day with New York news is your best approach for actually trading to the downside. If we don't get a New York high of the day and the London high of the day is there, then we simply won't trade, because it's, in terms of my trading and testing, it's low probability to trade based on a London high of the day. Whilst it might hold, it might not. It generally doesn't follow through. So that's the approach there. And then I'll move on to EURUSD. Okay, so EURUSD, I did take one trade in line with the trading plan, and I'll explain why it did make sense. Although, from the looks of it right now, I may have missed something. Alright, so let's start on the 4 hour, and then we can go from there. So from a 4 hour perspective, nothing has changed again. We're still in an unconfirmed scenario. For more detail, look at the London Outlook. But essentially, we started off the morning right here. We reacted to the window of imbalance, and then we're looking for that follow through to potentially target this. However, what I did discount is, if you look into this, whilst we had the Frankfurt high of the day, I didn't really consider this OP as a valid reaction, and whilst it is a bit judgmental, we do actually have the body break right here. So this is a valid OP, and when we pushed back into it at 10 o'clock, which would have been somewhere in this candle, it's actually a barrier that I didn't consider, and thus this trade is potentially invalid because of what we reacted into, and then we came into the entry. So I did make an error here. I took the loss, and I guess this is something that's going to happen while I adjust to trading multiple pairs. Just to quickly recap, EURUSD, we're also in an unconfirmed scenario. I said short only because a long substructure was taken out, and there's only reason to target this, but it doesn't mean that barriers won't hold, so I made an error there. And then in terms of New York, actually making sense of the New York session, what we do need to do to make sense of here is the fact that we need also, similar to GBPUSD, a New York high of the day to then support why trading from here makes sense, and then New York validation through the New York session, in addition to a change of character to evidence that we are indeed creating that leg, similar to what we had here. The only issue here is we had a barrier, whereas if we do this, it's unlikely that we're going to have a barrier. The closest barrier is there, and then yeah, so we need CB consumer confidence news to be positive for the USD, and that will validate why further shorts make sense. For Euro USD perspective, longs don't really make sense for today, given that substructure has already been achieved in the current day. So that's Euro USD. I'm just going to remove these brush strokes, and then we can move on to USD CAD. And from a USD CAD perspective, I think from 4H it's pretty clear. If you refer to my London lull outlook, what you'll realize is that we're in a 4H bearish market trend with quite a big leg. We've been reacting to the pro-trend extreme multiple times, but at the moment there's only reason to trade to the short side. We reacted to the pro-trend extreme, we broke the pullback phase last point of supply, validating the pro-trend primary leg, after which we have this pro-trend primary OB that we currently in and have wicked, temporarily taking liquidity. So there's certainly reasons to short. We then created a Frankfurt high of the day, but that was quickly taken out by London, making London high of the day, and unfortunately we can't trade based on this idea. So our only option for New York is that New York comes up, makes a New York high of the day, and then we can short from there, again requiring negative USD news to then short. So that's pretty much the New York outlook. I hope you have a good trading session, and we'll chat again for the end of day review.